The truth occurs. The truth occurs.
Hi everyone. Well, here's some disturbing news from Yahoo News. More than 1,000 dead birds fall from sky in Arkansas. On New Year's Eve, birds started to just rain down from the sky. You know, when I first saw this, my first thought was, oh, dead birds. Again? Because it's happened before. This video was posted on YouTube in January 2007. 2 million birds fall from sky dead, Russian says. And this was on ABC News last January 26, 2009. It says here, hundreds of dead birds fell onto homes and cars in part of a Somerset County town this weekend. That was in 2009. In this 2010 New Year's Eve case, it says that the birds showed physical trauma and could have been hit by lightning or high-altitude hail, or that the New Year's Eve fireworks might have freaked them out and they just died from stress. In any case, it says that they showed physical trauma. And back to the article from last January, as you see here, the title is Dead Birds Were Killed on Purpose. In this article, residents said that police had told them about an email from the U.S. Department of Agriculture that discussed a program to poison blackbirds. And Donna Leusner, a spokesperson for the New Jersey Department of Health and Senior Services, said the dead birds were part of a USDA program to reduce the European starling population. Of course, they said that, but they were harmless, you know, because they metabolize the poison in 24 hours. So there's no poison that's going to, you know, hurt people or anything like that. It's funny that they actually said that the government was behind it that time. They're trying to tell you that the birds ate the poison and fell from the sky 24 hours later. I find it weird, as if the birds would all eat the same poison grain at the same time and fall from the sky all at pretty much the same time. I don't know, something just seems strange to me about that one. And what about the birds in Russia? Were they poisoned too? What, 2 million of them? Well, here's a good question asked by Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones on Infowars.com. Is mass bird and fish die-off connected to government testing? By now, the toll is up to 2,000, and the government says that they were not poisoned. They're still saying it could have been hail or fireworks or some other weird, you know, natural phenomenon that happened up there that just killed them all, because, well, they did show signs of physical trauma, but nobody really knows what happened. It wasn't the government, not this time. But it's weird that this coincides with dead fish cover 20 miles of Arkansas River. It says here the Arkansas Game and Fish is trying to figure out why 100,000 fish in northwest Arkansas turned up dead, and they were all the same type of fish, some kind of bottom feeder called drum. It's a bit weird, that this would happen right around the same time as the birds. You can blame the birds on the fireworks, but you think the fish died from the fireworks too? I don't think so. Well, maybe it's just a coincidence that the two happened at the same time. But here is the hypothesis proposed on Infowars. So in their article, they mention that scalar weapons can artificially manipulate the environment, could be responsible for the mass die-offs. And they go on to say, we know for a fact that over a decade ago, the U.S. military-industrial complex was aware of and involved in testing such technology. Yeah, I think that would be a good candidate, scalar weapons. I mean, the government says it wasn't poisoning. In the past, they said it was poisoning, but they did it. But they did it for good reason. It wasn't any threat to you. But this time, it's not poisoning. Well, it could be some kind of scalar weapons, because USA Today says massive bird deaths likely caused by loud noises. They say that the birds must have been hit by something very hard because they had hemorrhages. And they say that neighbors heard 5 to 12 booming noises. So they're trying to tell you that, again, it was fireworks. And to me, this just sounds like a really hokey explanation. The birds got confused by the fireworks and tried to fly away, but possibly because of the fireworks, they naturally wouldn't want to go that high. They were below the roof line, so they were hitting houses, mailboxes, chimneys, and walls because they have poor night vision. The birds just went bananas and started running into mailboxes. Well, they do clarify a couple things. By now, of course, the death toll is up to over 3,000, maybe as much as 4,500 birds. But they say that the fish was probably related to disease because it only affected one species. So it could be a coincidence. But as for the birds, you know, as they point out on Prison Planet, the government has been caught doing, you know, awful experiments before with exotic weapons. and they have the technology. You remember those sound cannons that they were going to use at the G20? Maybe it's a sound weapon or something. I mean, people did hear a boom. But you got to remember that this has happened before, and it happened in Russia. So it's happened many times. It's not, sometimes they like to say that it's poisoning, but then, that doesn't sound like a good explanation to me. Fireworks, give me a break. You know how many fireworks people set off all the time? You'd think that this would happen more often. What, did they have fireworks in Russia too? I don't buy that one. Doing this on New Year's Eve would be a perfect way to cover up an experiment with some kind of sound or scalar weapon. They would just use it and then say it was the fireworks. It's perfect. Although it doesn't make much sense though, mind you, because like I said, we have fireworks all the time and we don't have thousands of dead birds dropping. Well, if it's a toss-up between scalar weapons or fireworks, I'd have to say that I would go with the scalar weapons. Well, thank you for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.